we are here to start with the next module, which is working with data. Right? Yes, no? Yes. So for this, my screen is already shared. Let me close this file called functions level 2. And now for this file, let me come back to my Sunlight folder. And now all of you open this file, which is working with data. Open the file working with data. When you open this file, come to data sheet. All of you come to data sheet. And here we have a lot of data. And again on this file, the filters are by default applied. So let's first remove those filters. Just give me a minute, just give me a minute. All right. So there was an urgent call, so that's done. So what I was saying is, on this sheet, you can see filters are by default applied. So first we have to remove the filters. So let me see what I'm doing. Let me go to my data tab and let me click on the filter again to remove them. And now, this data which we have, once I've removed the filters, see the data is sorted on the basis of ID numbers. The data is sorted as of now on the basis of ID number. That is why ID number 1 is coming at the top and ID number 213 is coming at the bottom. So my data is sorted now on the basis of ID numbers. But instead of keeping my data sorted on ID numbers, now I would like to sort my data on the basis of total transactions, which means the ID which has the highest transaction, I want to see at the top, and the ID which has the lowest transaction, I want to see at the bottom. So what I have to do is I have to sort my data on the basis of total transactions. So all of you select the data, press Ctrl A to select all, Ctrl A to select all. And now on my data tab, why I'm getting this window every minute. Wait a minute. Okay. So, right, if I go to data tab here, on my data tab, we have this feature called sort. So click on sort. This will open this window. Sort by, on which column you want to do the sorting. So we want to sort our data on the basis of total transactions. We want to sort on the basis of total transactions, and in which order we want to see this? We want to see in the order of largest to smallest, right? So first I selected my entire data. And then I said select my entire data. Data tab sort. And now we want to sort on total transactions in the order of largest to smallest. Now, once we have done this, now here we also have an option called My Data Has Headers, which is by default checked, which by default is on, which means the first row of my data is a header row. And this row number 1, we have to keep it at the top only, right? So my data has headers and this is a row number 1. Now, if I uncheck this option, so now Excel will not consider the first row as a header row. And now that row number 1, the values of that row number 1 will also get sorted along with the other data. Do we want that? No, we do not want. So what we want here is, we want that my data as headers, and this is row number 1 should be considered as a header row, and that row number 1 should always remain at the top. And we want to sort on total in the order of largest to smallest. So when I say OK, so now you can see the data is sorted. So 40,000 is the highest transaction, which is ID number 210. And when I scroll it down, the data is sorted. You can see here on the basis of total transaction in the order of highest to lowest. So at the bottom we have 0, which is ID number 4, and at the top we have 40,000, which is ID number 210. So I can select my data and I can do a sorting on any field, and I can define whether I want to see in smallest to largest or I want to see largest to smallest. Any doubt in this?
No.
So now my data is sorted on total transaction. Now let's say I want to sort my data location wise in alphabetical order. I want to see my data sorted on location wise in alphabetical order. So for that, let me select my data. Again, I'll go to data and sort. But this time, instead of sorting on total transactions, we want to sort our data on location wise. We want to sort my data on location wise. And then which order we want, whether you want ascending order or you want descending order. So let me keep it ascending order, which is A to Z. Sort by locations. And order is ascending order. Now when you say OK, so now you can see this time data is sorted location wise. So alphabetical order A, B, C, D. First we have Bangalore. After Bangalore we have Chennai. After Chennai we have Delhi. Can you see the data is sorted alphabetically in the order of alphabetical order, and this is location wise. Clear?
Yes.
But now I want to do something else. Listen to me very carefully what I want to do. My data is sorted location wise is fine. So in alphabetical order, first I have Bangalore, then I have Chennai, then I have Delhi and other locations. But first I want to see alphabetical order of Delhi NCR. And then I want to see the alphabetical order of Pan India. So when I say first I want to see alphabetical of Delhi NCR, which means first I want Delhi, then I want Gurgaon, and then I want Noida. And similarly, then I want for Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, right? And other locations. So I want to define my own order. I want NCR alphabetical order and then the Pan India alphabetical order. So what I'll do, again select the data, go back to data and sort. Sort by location is fine. But when I go on the right hand side, either I can sort ascending order or descending order, or we also have an option of a custom list, wherein I can define my own order, and on the basis of that I can sort my data. For example, now I want to see first Delhi NCR and then I want to see Pan India, which means neither I want ascending order nor I want descending order. I want a customized order. So location is fine, but in my order, I'll go to custom list. Now here that order is already defined on my computer. So this is what I used in my last training program. Let me delete this so that we both have the same screen. Let me delete this. And now we all have the same window. Now here I have to define that order manually, on the basis of which I want to see my data. So first I want Delhi NCR, which means Delhi, then Gurgaon, and then I want to see Noida. And now whatever the values you are entering here, the spelling should be the same so that it should match with the locations. So Delhi, Gurgaon, Noida, and then we want Bangalore. Then we want Chennai. Then we want Hyderabad, right? And at last we want Mumbai. So here I have defined my own order. And this order is neither in ascending order nor in descending order. So once I have defined this order, click on add. When you will do that, now you can see here the list is on the left hand side as well as the list is on the right hand side. So this is my own list which I have defined here. And once I have done that, let me click on this add option. So add is already done. So now you can see it's already added on the left and right. Now just say OK. And now you can see here that we are sorting our data location wise, and this is the order which we want. And when I click on this, I can also see a reverse order of my custom list, which means whether I want Delhi to Mumbai or I want to see Mumbai to Delhi, which is neither ascending nor descending. It is my custom order. So let me continue with Delhi to Mumbai. Alright, sort location wise, and this is my custom order. Just say OK. And now you can see here, first we have Delhi, then we will have Gurgaon, then we have Noida, then Bangalore, then Chennai, then Hyderabad, and at last we have Mumbai. This is custom sort. So sorting is not only ascending order or descending order. I can even do a custom level sorting. And this is one of the example of doing that. Got it. Once I've done this, now my data is sorted location wise, Delhi. Now in Delhi we have many records. So we also have a data of October, then May, then October, then September, then August, then again October. So what I want is, once the data is sorted location wise, this data I want to further sort on my dates in the order of newest to oldest. So first maybe show me the date of Delhi for October, then Delhi August, then Delhi July, then Delhi May, which means I want to further sort my data date wise. Now I am not saying that remove location and then do it date. What I'm saying is data I want it on location wise, but for each location I want to further sort my data on date wise. which means I'm looking for the second level sort. What I'm looking for is second level sort. For that, again select the data. Again select the data. Go back to data and say sort. So sort by location is fine. This is absolutely fine. But above to this, we have add level, which will help me in adding a second level sort. So I'll go to add level and then by. So after sorting on location, for each location, further sort my data date wise. Further sort my data date wise in the order of, let's say, newest to oldest. So I have defined 2 level sorting now. If you want, you can add more levels to a third level sorting, fourth level sorting. Or if you do not want them, simply delete those levels. You can even, change the sequence of these levels. Let's say here, I say move up. So now first it is sorting on date, and then for each date, it will do it on location wise. Or you want to bring it down. That first do it on location wise, and for each location, then I want date wise. So I can specify multiple level sorting. And now when I say OK, now see, it is still doing it on location wise, Delhi. But for each Delhi, can you see 29th October 2021, it's a newest date, latest date. And then 28, 27, see October wise. So this is going till 1st October. So Delhi, 1st October, and then Delhi, 29th October, which means in Delhi, the last entry, the last transaction was done on 29th October 2021. And when I go down, so for Delhi, the oldest entry, oldest transaction was done on 1st April 2021. Now then we have a date of Gurgaon. In Gurgaon, the latest entry is the last transaction is on 11th May and the oldest transaction was on 3rd of April. So now I can see for each location, the data further sorted on date wise. So that I can help myself in understanding my data. So people say sorting is like, ascending or descending, but you've seen multiple level sorting. You have also seen that how, and here we have also done a custom level sorting. Is it clear? Not clear? Is it clear or not clear?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Now, this is what we have done here. If you see this part, sorting the data on single and multiple field. Multiple field means that level by level sorting which we are doing. One level, second level, that is called multiple fields. And sorting data on customized order is what we have imported it here by defining our own order. That is my custom sort. Now sorting, we can also do it on colors. Sorting, we can also do it on colors. For example, let me select my data again. In status 1, we have 2 set of colors, red and green. So let me select my data. I'll go to data and sort. Now let's delete both the levels. So delete level. Let's delete both the level and add a level. And now I want to sort on my status 1. I want to sort it on status 1. Now in status 1, we also have 2 values and we also have colors. So in between, you can see sort on. So in status 1, I don't want to sort on cell value, but I want to sort on cell color. So sort on status 1, sort on cell color, and which color you want at the top or which color you want at the bottom. So I want green color at the top. So on the top, I want green color. So sort by status 1, sort on cell color, and I want at the top green color. Just say OK, and now you can see here the data is sorted on status 1 in the order of the color, and you can see green color at the top. Clear? This feature is called data sorting. Now once I've done this, sorting, now out of this data, I want to see the data only of Delhi NCR. Out of this data, I want to extract the data only of Delhi NCR. So what I can do is I can perform filters on my data. All of you go to data tab, and after sort we have filter. After sort we have filter, click on that. And now you can see the filter, the drop down on all the headings. Now I want to extract the data only of Delhi NCR. So what I will do, I will go to locations, the filter option of locations. And here I can see all the locations which are there in my data. So uncheck all, and just select Delhi, Gurgaon and Noida. Delhi, Gurgaon and Noida. And now when you say OK, so this is the data of Delhi, Noida and Gurgaon. You can see here at the bottom, this is showing me 103 of 213 records found. So out of 200 records, almost 200, we have got almost 100 records, and the data is filtered on Delhi NCR. Got it. And this filtered data, if I want, I can sort also. So sort A to Z, sort Z to A. So if I say sort Z to A, so at the top we have Noida, then we have Gurgaon, and then we have Delhi. So this is Delhi NCR filter data, which I have arranged in reverse order on the basis of descending order. Right? Now once I've done this, not only that I can filter on my text, so this is like a normal filters. Let me clear this filter. So after filter, in fact, you can go to location here and you can say clear filter from locations. That will clear the filters, and you will be able to see the complete data again. So apart from this location wise, if you see my data, when we have ID numbers, somewhere we have PE in the beginning and somewhere we have PZ in the beginning. So we have two different groups. One is starting with a PE and second is starting with PZ. And I want to know only those which are starting with PE group. PE. So what I'll do, I'll filter on my IDs. But this time, I will not select all these one by one. Instead, I'll go to text filters. And now you can see all the filter. Equal, does not equal, begin with, end with, contain, does not contain. So I want to see which are begins with. And here, let me type PE. I want to see only those which are beginning with PE. Right? And now when I say OK, so now you can see here 139 record of 213 and these are 139. They all belong to the PE group. Now this PE group which we have 139 records. I want to see the data of PE group for the only for those wherein we have a blank cells in week 1. So week 1 blank cells and PE group. So this is already filtered on IDs. Now this filtered data, I would like to further filter on week 1. And I want to see only the blanks. So let me go to filtered option of week 1. Now there are again many. So uncheck select all. Uncheck select all. And at the bottom, the last option is blanks. The last option is blanks. And when you click on OK, so now this belongs to PE group and blanks values. So blank values in week 1 for the PE group. Now this data let me copy, Control A, Control C copy, and let me add a new sheet. And let me paste that data here. Just to keep a track of this data later on. Let me rename this sheet PE with blank week 1. Whatever the name you want to define, you can do that. Clear? Yes, no?
Yes.
Let me go back to my data sheet. Let me press escape key to disable this. And now filter is applied on week 1, filter is also applied on IDs. So instead of removing one by one from both the columns, I can simply go to my data tab and after filter, we have this clear option. So this clear option will clear all the filters. So after filter, let me click on clear and everything is cleared. Now I want to filter my data date-wise. So when you go to date-wise, you can see here, Excel is automatically doing a grouping of all the dates. And this is showing me that in my data for the year 2021, we have a data for these months. Let's say I want to see my data only for the first quarter of 2021. So uncheck all and I will simply select April, May and June. Are you getting this option of month-wise?
Yes.
So please select this option, everyone.
Yes.
And now when I say OK, so this is that data. And this data, now I will do a sort on the basis of newest to oldest. No, this time make it oldest to newest. So that first April, then May, then June. Oldest to newest. Right. So this is filtered on April to June. So first we have a date of April, then we have a date of May, and at last we have a date of June. So this is filtered followed by sort. Now, if you remember, few minutes back, we have filtered on the basis of blank cells. Let's say I want to see in week 2, wherever we have a 0, I want to see only those 0 records. So now I'll go to week 2. The first number is 0. So uncheck all and select 0. Uncheck all, select 0 and say OK. So this is the data which is April to June. So in the first quarter, which are those records wherein the week 2 transaction value is 0? So these are those records. These are those records. Clear? So after this, let me clear all the conditions. Let me go to my total transactions. And when I go to this total transaction, I can go to number filters. We have seen text filters. We have seen date filters. These are the number filters. And here I can say, I want to filter all those whose transaction value, let's say, is greater than 10,000 or less than 5,000 or greater than equal to 10,000. So I have different options. And here we also have an option of top 10. Top 10, I'll go here. So now I want to filter my data on the basis of the total transaction and I want to see top 10 transaction value. In fact, this 10, I can reduce it to 5 or I can even make it to top 20. Let's say I want to see top 20 transactions. Or in fact, instead of top, I can also say bottom. So whether I want bottom transaction values or I want top transaction value and how many you want. So I want top 20 transaction value. So when I say OK, so this is top 20 transaction value. Top 20 means say in the order of highest to lowest. In the order of highest to lowest. And once I've done it, so then I'll say sort largest to smallest. So that I can see now this is sorted also and this is top 20 transactions which are filtered. And this data, the way we have done a sorting on colors, if I go to ratings, you can see we have colors. I can also filter on colors. So I can go to the option of filter by color and I can select, the different, it's showing me that in my data, we have these 3 set of colors. which one you want to filter. Let's say I want pink. These are those pink records. So sorting and filters, they both can be applied on colors. Is that clear?
Yes.
So this is called filter, which is what we have applied here, and this is what we have done. How we can do a sorting on single field, multiple field, customized order, and how to use different kind of filters. So once I have done this, let me clear my filters. Let me clear my filters. And let me click on this filter option again to permanently remove the filters. To permanently remove the filters. Now, if I go to my index sheet, if I go to my index sheet here, now my entire data is here on my data sheet. So on my index sheet, let me type data. On my index sheet, let me type data, and on this data, on this cell where we have this value data, I want to define a hyperlink so that if I click on that, that should take me to my data sheet. I just want to define a hyperlink. So for that, let me come to index. Select this cell whose value is data, and we have a keyboard shortcut Control K. We have a keyboard shortcut called Control K, which will open a hyperlink window. And in this window, I want to create a link with a data sheet. And this data sheet is available within the same workbook. So whenever you want to create a link within the same workbook, for that we use this option called place in this document. We click on this option called place in this document. So whenever you click on that, it will show you the names of all the sheets available within this workbook. And we want to link this one with my data sheet, wherein the cell number which I want to define is A1. So by default, it is taking A1, but if you want to give a different cell number, you can also do that. So place in this document, I have selected data sheet and the cell number is A1. Now when I say OK, so that hyperlink is set up. And now if you click on this data, that will take you to data sheet, and you can see it has taken you to cell number A1. So cell number A1 is now your active cell. Are you getting the point what I've done here?
Yes.
What I've done? Can you define? Can you define what I've done?
Yeah. So in the index tab, we have entered data, and we need to link this with our data tab. So we will go click on Control K.
Yeah.
And then from Control K, we will go to place in this document.
Okay.
And then we can select the tab that we want to link.
The sheet.
We have the sheet.
Okay.
And from here we have selected data, and then click on OK.
Right, and that link will be set up, right?
Yes.
So that link is set up. And if you remember earlier, the color was blue, but now the color has changed to pink or a red, so that we can distinguish that these links are already visited. Whenever you visit any link, after that it automatically change the color. Right. Now, let me do one thing. Come back to index sheet. Come back to index sheet. And today we were working on a different file. Okay, do one thing. Type here setting workbook and worksheets. Setting workbook and worksheets. So again, I want to define a hyperlink, but this time not with the same workbook. But I want to define a hyperlink with a different workbook, and that different workbook is setting workbook and worksheets, on which we were working yesterday. So select this file setting workbook and worksheets. Control K. Control K. And now this time I don't have to create a link within the same workbook. I have to create a link with an external workbook. So for that, what I'll do, instead of place in this document, let me click on the first option, existing file or a web page. Let me click on the first option, existing file or a web page. And now from here you have to specify the path. So let me go to my live training folder, wherein I have a Sun Life folder. And now inside this folder, I want to link the file called setting workbook and worksheets. But when you select this workbook, setting workbook and worksheets, now on the right hand side, click on this bookmark. When you click on bookmark, it will show you all the sheets within this workbook. All the sheets within this workbook. Let's say I want to link banking sheet. And the cell number which you want to specify, let's say that is A1. The cell number is not very crucial for me. So A1 of the banking sheet. I'll say okay. Which means now what I have done, I have not clicked on placing this document because it's a different Excel workbook. I clicked on existing file or a web page. Then I specified the path. Then I selected the file name. Right? So when I say OK, that link is set up. Again say OK. And now that link is set up. Now you can see here there are two different colors. So now if I click on this, it will open a different Excel workbook. Would you like to open? OK. Different Excel workbook. This is that file, and this is the banking sheet. Active cell is A1. So you can see here, we can make a link within the same workbook, as well as I can make a link with an external workbook. Is it clear or not clear?
So there is
Yeah.
like about the 1 year runout time. So like, is it non-negotiable? Is it fixed? Like,
Now, once we have done this,
yes.
so this is hyperlink, and let me close this file. I have set up a link within the workbook as well as an external workbook. Now, yesterday, when we were working in this folder, we also have created a PDF file as well as a text file. So I can also set up a link with a PDF file, a Word file, or an Excel file. So let me say PDF, which is banking. So if I go here, let me type here banking. And now I want to set up a link with an external PDF file. So it is the same procedure. Select the cell, Control K.
So
Again,
if
go to existing file or a web
like
page.
I'm not sure
Again,
about
specify the path.
this bond or anything. So
And this time I'm selecting the PDF file.
reason means like I have
Now here
used
I can also select a text file.
pursue further
I can
studies
also
in
select a
India,
PowerPoint file. So
and
all
like
kind
the
of
one
object
which you
files
are
I
talking
can
about,
select,
I think
and they have a same
maybe
functionality.
uh,
Hyperlink has the
like
same
this bond
functionality.
only thing,
So
because
I'll say banking.pdf.
there is anything because
That link is set up.
I'm not sure about it.
And now if I click on that, it will open that PDF file.
I'm not sure about it. I need to discuss it with my family a little bit.
Is it clear? Not clear?
Yeah.
So by using a hyperlink, I can set up a link within this workbook, an external workbook, or I can even set up a link with any kind of a external object, which can be a PDF file, a text file, or a PowerPoint file, any kind of a file. I can set up a hyperlink like this. But these hyperlinks will work only on my computer. These hyperlinks will work only on my computer. So if I share this workbook with someone over the mail, so other person will not be able to click on this setting workbook and worksheet. And other person will not be able to even click on this PDF file. However, the other person will definitely be able to click on this data because this link is for the same workbook. So if I mail this Excel file to certain users, the links which are available for within the same workbook, they will keep working. But if we have any link for an external files, so those external links will not work. Which means my other users will not be able to see what we have in banking or what we have it here in different file form, in different Excel files. For example, if I see here Sun Life folder, I also have a notepad file, txt file, which is banking. If I open this file, banking sheet, banking data, the same data I have it in a txt format. And I can set up a hyperlink so that I can link with this file. But that link will again work only on my computer. If I send that file to someone, so other person will not be able to access this data. Are you getting my point or not? So what I will do, instead of setting up a link with that notepad file, instead of getting that data via hyperlink, I can simply import the data from my txt file to my Excel file. Instead of setting up a hyperlink, I can simply import that data to my Excel file. For example, if you see that this notepad file has the data, and this data I want to import to my Excel file. So how to do that? Come to your Excel, add a new sheet here, and give a name here, banking. Give a name here, banking. And on this sheet, I want to import all the data from my txt file, not PDF file, the txt file. Where I have that txt file, that txt file is here. So from this file, I want to import that data here. So how to import the data? Go to Data tab. Now you will be able to see Get Data, or even after that you can see different icons. From text file, from recent sources, from the web, we have different formats. And here we have an option of from text /CSV. Click on this from text file. So I want to import the data. Let me click on cancel. I'm saying go to data. I want to import the data and import it from text file. So click on from text. Now you have to specify where we have that file, which is there in my live training folder. Folder name is Sun Live. And here that txt file is banking sheet. The text file is banking file. When you select this, say import. The moment you say import, it is trying to build up a connection with that. And my screen is looking like something like this. Your screen might be showing you that feature called text to column, which we have seen yesterday. So wherein we are using the delimited option, and the delimited is tab. It is showing me a data here. And then you have to just say finish. I'll say load to on my computer. You can just say finish. And then you will get similar kind of a window. So how you want to see that data? By default, table option is selected, which is fine. And where you want to see this? On a new worksheet? No. I've already created this sheet, right? So I'll say go to existing sheet, and I'll prefer A1. So I want to see that data in a tabular form, which is coming from the txt file. And I want to see here on my existing sheet in cell number A1. Now when you say OK, so this is the data which we have imported, and this is the data which is coming. This data we have imported from the notepad file, from the txt file, directly to my Excel file. You can close this window which is there on the right. And this is the data which we have. And this is not a hyperlink. I repeat, this is not a hyperlink. This is what? We have imported that data, imported this data from the notepad file to my Excel file. So if you want to share this file with someone now, other person will also be able to access this data. So this time I will not prefer hyperlink, I will prefer to import the data. Clear or not?
Yeah.
So both the options have their own advantages. Hyperlink, if you want to set up a link, and but those links, most of the links will work only on my computer. clear or not clear? Any doubts? This data which we have got here, if you remember, it asked me in which format, and by default table was selected. So this data is available in a table form. And there are a lot of advantages of using a table. You can see at the top we have a table design. And on this table design, I have many options. And I can play with these table options. But it is not necessary that every time I can use this table option only with that data which is imported. For example, I already have some data here, premium IDs. Come to this premium IDs. This is a raw data. This I have not imported from a TXT file. This is by default in my Excel. And this data also I can convert to table. And then I'll tell you what are the advantages of doing that. First, let's do that. I want a similar kind of a table, which we have it here. So if you go back to premium, the shortcut for table is Control T. T for table. Control T. Where is the data for your table? This is our data. My table as headers is fine. Okay. Now this data is also converted to a table, which means any data I can convert to a table. I have to just press Control T. And you will get this table design at the top. Now, if you go to this table design, we have many options. For example, you can see we have this color. I can change these colors. It will help, in making my data more presentable. Just change any of the color. I can change any color. Now, once I've done this, we also have an option called total row here. And before that, before coming to total row, I've taken a color. Now, when you scroll it down, you are still able to see the header row. You are still able to see the header row, which means by default, table frees the headings, which is very good. I don't have to manually freeze my data. I don't have to manually freeze my headings. The freeze pane is inbuilt here. So in freeze pane is inbuilt. Second is I can change the colors. Third is we have an option of a total row. When I click on total row, so below to my data, it will add a total row, wherein I can apply different functions, and you can see here, by default, it has applied a count function here. That is why at the bottom, I can see what is the count of this one. So we have total 53 ratings. And similarly, let's say here I can use different functions under different columns. So week 1, I want is, let's say, max. So maximum value I would like to see in every week. So, whenever you have any data, just press Control T, convert it to a table. Choose different functions by going to, when you say table, just go to this table design. Turn on this option of a total row. and you can select different functions here. Then choose different colors. Total row is done, colors done. By default, the row number 1, the headings are free set at top. Now, there's one more option which I really like in my tables. That is this slicer. So slicers are also working like a filter, but they have an added advantage. If I go to insert slicer, so it will show me all the fields which are there in my data. You can select any fields. I'll show you the reason. Let me select any field like locations and also ratings. Let me select any two fields, locations and ratings. Okay. So these two are slices. Let me drag it and keep them here on the right hand side. And this is showing me that in my data, in my locations, we have these 5 locations. In my data, we have these 3 ratings, which I can also see here. Now, either you filter from here or you filter from the slicer, it's one and the same thing. But now, if I show you something, let me click here on Delhi. So when I say click on Delhi, it's like, we have filtered our data on Delhi. And you can see here, we have a Delhi data. Now, if I say, and then I can see the data of all the 3 ratings, right? Now, I can also filter from here, but I've clicked from here. Now, see, if I click on Noida, so this is Noida filtered. Now, can you see here, for Noida, A is enabled, but A plus and B plus disabled, which means in my Noida, I do not have a data of A plus and B plus. It is only A. If I go to Bangalore, now see here, this is a Bangalore data, and in Bangalore, we do not have A plus. A plus is disabled. So I can, simply match these two. And I can see that, okay, in this location, I have only these 2 ratings, but I do not have A plus. But if I don't use the slicer, I think, if I just filter on my Bangalore from here, I will not be able to see that what all we have, what all we do not have. That is something, slicer will help me. Similarly, if I go to Hyderabad, so again, A plus we do not have in Hyderabad. And this is a filter data of Hyderabad. And if I say Mumbai, so this is a Mumbai filtered. And in Mumbai, again. Now from here, I can say clear the filters. From here, I can say clear the filters and I will get the pan India data again. Now, instead of filtering from location, I can also filter on ratings. Now, if I click on A, so this is the data of A, and A is available in all the locations. But if I go to A plus, now see, A plus is available only in Delhi. And this is the only record. So, this slicer is helping me that, okay, in which location, on a particular location, which all ratings I have, or this particular rating is available in where all locations. So I can, visualize my data. And if I go to B plus, now see B plus, I have everywhere except Noida. And this is that filter data. So in my table, I really like this option. So when I go to table, I go to table design, take the designs and use this row at the bottom. And then use this option called slices. That really helps. Got it or not? Is it clear? Not clear? And from here also, let me say, clear this filters. You're not responding much. I don't know why. Are you there in the session or I'm the only one?
No, we are there. No, we are there.
Yes. We are there. Why did the pin drop silence? Either one option is everything is clear, second option is nothing is clear. Okay, so let me go back to share my screen. This is called tables, and the shortcut is Control T. Control T stands for tables. If you want to remove the table and you want to take it back to the normal data, go to table design. And here on my table design, I have convert to range. But before converting to range, you have to remove everything which is there. So you will have to, take the table style back to the normal. Then you will have to uncheck this header row, total row. Then you even have to select these slicers and you have to delete them manually. Just select, delete. And then you can simply go back to table design and say convert to range. So first you have to remove everything which you have turned on, and then you can click on remove, convert back to normal range. Clear, not clear?
Yeah.
Clear.
Could you please repeat that again?
Which one?
That convert back to the normal
Range. So let me say I create a copy of this sheet, mover copy, and before this premium sheet, create a copy. So here also we have a table, here also I have a table. Now I want to convert this back to the normal range. So I have to remove everything. So let me select this slicer, delete. Select the slicer, delete. After that, what else? Now once I've deleted that, go to table design. And on my table design, I have to uncheck this header, not header row, total row is what we have turned on. So total row, I have to turn it off. I have to take my table styles back to normal, right? This was my original data. And now I will say convert to range. Do you want to convert to normal range? Yes. And now this is converted. Now you can't see the table design at the top, which the table design tab, because this is converted back to normal data. This is how we can remove it to normal range. We can move it to a normal range.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, once I've done this, if you see here in my table design, I also have an option of remove duplicates, which I can use to remove the duplicate record from my data. But this remove duplicates, I can even remove it from outside the table. It is not mandate that data has to be in a tabular form. Only then I can say remove duplicates. For example, if I go here, I have a sheet called duplicates. I have a sheet called duplicates wherein I can see this ID number 1. I think this is coming multiple times. Do you agree with me? Yes.
Yes.
So there are 4 times the same record is coming. And this is not in a tabular form. This is not in a table, right? So I want to remove all the duplicate records. What I will do, go to data tab, and on my data tab, we have this feature called remove duplicates here. On my data tab, we have this feature called remove duplicates. And when I go to data remove duplicates, now at this point of time, you have to ensure that all the field must be selected. Because I told you we have 4 duplicate records, which means that entire record is coming again. Only then I have to consider that as a duplicate record. So that means I have to match all the fields. So you have to ensure that all the field must be selected at this point of time. And now when I say okay, 128 duplicate entries were there and they have been removed because now, and it has compared on the basis of all the fields. So now when I say okay, so those 100, see that those duplicate entries have been removed. Is it clear or not clear? But if I look at my data now, that ID number 1, those duplicate records are deleted. But ID number 2 is still coming multiple times. Can you tell me why? Because of the name and the day on. Right, because we selected all the field at that point of time. Because we selected all the field, so all the field have to be the same. Only then those duplicacy will be removed. And I think that is the correct way. Correct? But if I say go to data, remove duplicates, if I say unselect all, if I uncheck all, and if I select only ID, now what will happen? If I uncheck all and if I select only the IDs, what will happen now?
It will delete all the duplicate IDs.
Right. Irrespective of the name, irrespective of the location. Which means now it will keep only one ID one time in my data. So that should ideally I should not do this because IDs should also get matched with the name and other details. But still, let me take this option and if I say okay, so 13 duplicates are more removed and now you can see one ID is coming only one time in the data. But this is a wrong approach, that why you have deleted those records because they were having a different name, they belong to a different location. But still, I thought let me show you both the examples. If I undo this, because when you say remove duplicate, you have all the option how you want to match. So you should, in fact, you should select all the fields. Got it? So this is what we have done here. After sorting and filters, we have seen how we can link the sheets within the file, an external workbook, and external object like we have seen that PDF file through hyperlink. And we can also import and link that data from external sources, right? So we have imported that data directly from TXT file to my Excel file. So either you can get a link or you can import that data. Then we have seen how we can represent our data using tables, and within that table we have also seen the option of a slicer. And then we have also seen how at the last we can remove the duplicate entries from the data. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now.